Gloomy Wood. According to the one playbill, it was presented by a few shrubs in pots, a green vase on the floor, and a cave in the distance. This cave was made with a clothes horse for a roof, bureaus for walls, and in it was a small furnace in full blast, with a black pot on it and an old witch bending over it. The stage was dark, and the glow of the furnace had a fine effect, especially as real steam issued from the kettle especially as real steam issued from the kettle when the witch took off the cover. A moment was allowed for the audience A moment was allowed for the first thrill to subside. Then Hugo, the villain, stalked in with a clanking sword at his side, a slouched hat, black beard, mysterious cloak, and the boots. After pacing to and fro in much agitation, he struck his forehead and burst out in a wild strain, singing of his hatred for Roderigo, his love for Zara, and his pleasing resolution to kill the one and win the other. The gruff tones of Hugo's voice, with an occasional shout, I keep losing my place, I'm so sorry. With an occasional shout when his feelings overcame him, were very impressive, and the audience applauded the moment he paused for breath. Bowing with the air of one accustomed to public praise, he stole to the cabin and ordered Hagar, who came forth with a commanding, "What ho, minion, I need thee." Out came Meg with grey horsehair hanging about her face, a red and black robe, a staff, and cabalistic signs upon her cloak. I don't know what cabalistic means, but whatever. Hugo demanded a potion to make Zara adore him, and one to destroy Roderigo. Hagar, in a fine dramatic melody, promised both, and proceeded to call up the spirit who would bring the love philter. That's filter spelled with a PH, so again, no idea what that means, but the next bit is a sing part, and I'm not going to sing, but I'll read the lyrics, okay? Hither, hither, from thy home, airy sprite, I bid thee come. Born of roses, feed on dew, charms and potions canst thou brew. Bring me here with elfin speed the fragrant philter which I need. Make it sweet and swift and strong. Spirit, answer now my song. A soft strain of music sounded, and then at the back of the cave appeared a little figure in cloudy white, with glittering wings, golden hair, and a garland of roses on its head. Waving around it sang, "Hither I come from my airy home afar in the silver moon. I take the magic spell, or use it well, or its power will vanish soon." And dropped a small gilded bottle at the witch's feet. Dropping the small gilded bottle at the witch's feet, the spirit vanished. Another chant from Hagar produced another apparition, not a lovely one, for, with a bang, an ugly black imp appeared. And having croaked a reply, tossed a dark bottle at Hugo, and disappeared with a mocking laugh. Having warbled his thanks and put the potions in his boots, Hugo departed, and Hagar informed the audience that, as he had killed a few of her friends in times past, she has cursed him and intends to thwart his plans and be revenged on him. Then the curtain fell, and the audience reposed and ate candy while discussing the merits of the play. A good deal of hammering went on before the curtain rose again, but when it became evident what a masterpiece of stage carpentering had been got up, no one murmured at the delay. It was truly splendid. A tower rose to the ceiling. Halfway up appeared a window with a lamp burning at it, and behind the white curtain appeared Zara in a lovely blue and silver dress, waiting for Roderigo. He came in gorgeous array with plumped cap, red cloak, chestnut love-locks, a guitar, and the boots, of course. Kneeling at the foot of the tower, he sang a serenade in melting tones. Zara replied, and after a musical dialogue, consented to fly. Then came the grand effect of the play. Roderigo produced a rope ladder with 5 steps to it, and threw up one end and invited Zara to descend. Timidly she crept from her lattice, put her hand on Roderigo's shoulder, and was able to lead gracefully down, when, alas for Zara, she forgot her train. It caught in the window, the tower tottered, leaned forward, fell with a crash, and buried the unhappy lovers in the ruins. A universal shriek arose as the russet boots waved wildly from the wreck, and a golden head emerged, exclaiming, "I told you so, I told you so," with wonderful presence of mind. Don Pedro, the cruel sire, rushed in, dragged out his daughter with the hasty aside. "Don't laugh, act as if it was all right," and ordering Roderigo up, banished him from the kingdom with wrath and scorn. Though decidedly shaken by the fall of the tower upon him, Roderigo defied the old gentleman and refused to stir. This dauntless example fired Zara. She also defied her sire, and he ordered them both to the deepest dungeons of the castle. A stout little retainer came in with chains and led them away, looking very much frightened and evidently forgetting the speech he ought to have made. Act 3 was the castle hall, and here Hagar appeared, having come home to free the lovers and finish Hugo. She hears him coming and hides, sees him put the potions into two cups of sees him put the potions into 2 cups of wine, and bid the timid little servant bear them to the captives in their cells, and tell them I shall come anon. The servant takes Hugo aside to tell him something, and Hagar changes the cups for 2 others which are harmless. Ferdinando, the minion, carries them away, and Hagar puts back the cup which holds the poison meant for Roderigo. Hugo, getting thirsty after a long warble, drinks it, loses his wits, and after a good deal of clutching and stamping, falls flat and dies, while Hagar informs him what she has done in a song of exquisite power and melody. Sorry. This was a truly thrilling scene, though some persons might have thought that the sudden trembling down of a quantity of long hair rather marred the effect of the villain's death. He was called before the curtain, and with great surprise he appeared leading Hagar, whose singing was considered more wonderful than the rest of the performance put together. Act 4 displayed the despairing Roderigo at the point of stabbing himself, because he's been told that Zara deserted him, just as the dagger is at his heart. A lovely song is sung under his window, informing him that Zara is true, but in danger, and he can save her if he will. A key is thrown in, which unlocks the door, and in a spasm of rapture he tears off his chains and rushes away to find and rescue his lady-love. Act 5 opened with the stormy scene between Zara and Don Pedro. He wishes her to go to a convent, but she won't hear of it, and after a touching appeal is about to faint when Roderigo when Roderigo dashes in and demands her hand. I'll repeat that sentence. I'll cut this out, hopefully. Act 5th opened with a stormy scene between Zara and Don Pedro. He wishes her to go into a convent, but she won't hear of it, and, after a touching appeal, is about to faint when Rodrigo dashes in and demands her hand. Don Pedro refuses, because he is not rich. They shout and gesticulate tremendously, but cannot agree, and Rodrigo is about to bear away the exhausted Zara when the timid servant enters with a letter and a bag from Hagar, who has mysteriously disappeared. The letter informs the party that she bequeaths untold wealth to the young pair, and an awful doom to Don Pedro, who doesn't make them happy. The bag is opened, and several quarts of tin money shower upon the stage, till it is quite glorified with the glitter. This entirely softens the stern sire. He consents without a murmur. All join in a joyful chorus, and the curtain falls upon the lovers kneeling to receive Don Pedro's blessing, in attitudes of the most romantic grace. Tumultuous applause follows, but received an unexpected check, for the cot bed on which the dress circle was built suddenly shut up and extinguished the enthusiastic audience. Rodrigo and Don Pedro threw to the rescue, and all were taken out unhurt, though many were speechless with laughter. The excitement had hardly subsided when Hannah appeared with Mrs. March's compliments, and would all the ladies walk down to supper. This was a surprise even to the actors, and when they saw the table they looked at one another in rapturous amazement. It was like Marnie to get up a little treat for them, but anything so fine as this was unheard of since the departed days of plenty. There was ice cream, actually 2 dishes of it, pink and white, and cake and fruit, and distracting French bonbons, and in the middle of the table 4 great bouquets of hothouse flowers. It took quite their breath away, and they stared first at the table and then at their mother, who looked as if she enjoyed it immensely. "Is it fairies?" asked Amy. "It's Santa Claus," said Beth. "Mother did it," said Meg, and Meg smiled Mother did it, and Meg smiled her sweetest, in spite of her grey beard and white eyebrows. Aunt March had a good fit, and sent the supper, cried Jo, with a sudden inspiration. "All wrong. Old Mr. Lawrence sent it," replied Mrs. March. "The Lawrence boy's grandfather? What in the world would put such a thing into his head? We don't know him," exclaimed Meg. "Hannah told one of his servants about your breakfast party. He's an odd gentleman, but that pleased him. He knew my father years ago, and he sent me a polite note this afternoon, saying he hoped I would allow him to express his friendly feeling towards my children by sending them a few trifles in honor of the day."